Welcome back to our channel, World Coins History. As you knew that old is gold, but these rare Abraham Lincoln wheat penny coins that are most valuable than you think, don't spend one of them. You're lucky if you have one of these, so please watch complete video and find your treasure. Let's start this. Top 1. Today's video is going to be a real treat. We're diving into the world of American coins, and we've got a special one from 1949 that might just be sitting in your collection. The United States 1 cent coin from 1949. Now, we know the 1 cent coin doesn't typically make headlines. It's usually the smallest, least valuable coin in your wallet, right? But what if I told you that a single 1949 penny could be worth a small fortune? Well, stick around, because we're going to explore why this humble little coin could make you a lot richer than you think. Let's start with a little history to set the stage. The 1949 1 cent coin was minted during a time when the United States was rebuilding after World War II. The economy was picking up, and the country was transitioning into a new era. It was the tail end of a decade that saw major cultural and technological changes. But what makes this particular penny so special, you might ask? It all comes down to a combination of rarity, demand, and a little bit of luck. The 1949 penny was minted in significant numbers, over 1 billion were produced. But here's the thing, not all of them were created equal. Most of these coins were circulated widely, meaning they got worn down and damaged over the years. So, when you find a 1949 penny that is still in great condition, that's when the magic happens. Now let's talk about the design of the coin. On the obverse side, you've got the famous image of Abraham Lincoln, which has graced the 1 cent coin since 1909. His face, captured in profile, symbolizes the strength and enduring spirit of the American people. The reverse features 2 stalks of wheat, symbolizing America's agricultural heritage. This design was used from 1909 until 1958. It's a beautiful tribute to the country's roots, and it's something collectors absolutely adore. But here's where it gets interesting. Certain versions of the 1949 penny have a very specific and unique feature. Some coins were struck with a much higher quality than others, particularly those that were minted in Denver and Philadelphia. Coins from these mints that have survived in near mint or uncirculated condition are incredibly rare. And, even rarer still, are pennies that show no signs of wear, scratches, or discoloration. These pristine coins are highly sought after by collectors who are always on the lookout for that one elusive gem, but it's not just about the condition. There's also the matter of certain variations in the minting process. Occasionally, there were errors in production, things like double strikes, slight misprints, or even unusual wear patterns. These errors can make a coin even more valuable. So, if you happen to have a 1949 penny with an unusual feature or defect, you could have a real treasure on your hands. So, what's the value of this little penny, you ask? If you find a 1949 penny in uncirculated condition, you could be looking at a coin worth as much as $87,000. Yes, you heard that right, $87,000 for a single penny. It's not every day that a small coin like this could change your life. So if you have one of these in your collection, now's the time to take a closer look. If you're lucky enough to find a 1949 penny with minting errors or in exceptional condition, the price could be even higher, depending on its rarity and the demand from collectors. So, always keep an eye out when you're going through your old coins. What might seem like just another penny could be worth a fortune. Top 2, we're about to uncover a fascinating piece of American history that could be hiding right in your pocket. A coin that might just make you thousands of dollars richer. We're talking about the United States 1 cent coin from 1945, a penny that may seem ordinary at first glance, but could be worth much more than you think. If you've got any old pennies lying around, you'll want to watch this, because what we're about to reveal could change everything. The 1945 penny was minted during a time of great significance in American history. World War II was drawing to a close, and the country was transitioning from wartime production to peacetime prosperity. It's incredible to think about what these small coins have witnessed throughout the decades. But here's the twist: while most 1945 pennies are relatively easy to find, a select few of them are extraordinarily rare and have incredible value. So, what makes the 1945 1-cent coin so special? For starters, this penny has been in circulation for over 7 decades. Many of the 1945 pennies produced were worn down, damaged, or lost over time. But the few that remain in pristine, uncirculated condition are highly sought after by collectors. These coins are not just a piece of history, they represent a time when the United States was on the brink of a new era, and their value has only increased as the years have gone by. Let's take a closer look at the design of the coin. On the obverse side, you'll find the iconic portrait of President Abraham Lincoln, a design that has been on the penny since 1909. The image of Lincoln symbolizes unity, strength, and perseverance, qualities that were especially important during the turbulent years leading up to and following the war. On the reverse, you'll see 2 stalks of wheat, a design that was used from 1909 until 1958. The wheat symbol was a nod to America's agricultural roots, and it gives the coin a timeless, classic appeal. So why is the 1945 penny so valuable? The answer lies in its rarity and condition. Most 1945 pennies that were used in daily transactions were heavily circulated and damaged over the years. They might show signs of wear, scratches, or discoloration, making them much less valuable. However, certain pennies that were either kept in mint condition or accidentally preserved in some way are incredibly rare. These well-preserved coins are in high demand, especially among collectors who are looking to complete their collections with a piece that's not only historically significant but also in exceptional condition. But that's not all. Some 1945 pennies have unique features or errors that make them even more valuable. For example, there have been reports of misprints, double strikes, and other anomalies in the minting process that set certain coins apart from the rest. These rare variations are highly prized by collectors and can significantly increase the value of the coin. Now, you're probably wondering, just how much is a 1945 penny worth? If you have a 1945 penny in mint condition, with no signs of wear and tear, or if it has a rare error or variation, the value can be staggering. In fact, a single 1945 penny in exceptional condition could be worth as much as $90,000. Yes, you heard that correctly, $90,000 for just one penny. It's a reminder that sometimes, the smallest things hold the greatest value. If you've got a 1945 penny tucked away somewhere, or if you're going through a jar of old coins, take a moment to inspect them closely. You might just have a rare gem on your hands that could turn out to be worth a small fortune. Top 3, we're talking about the United States 1-cent coin from 1953, an unassuming penny that could be worth more than you ever imagined. So, if you've got a collection of coins tucked away or just stumbled upon an old penny, this one might just be the gem you've been looking for. Stick around until the end, because we've got an incredible value reveal coming your way. Let's start by setting the stage. The 1953 1-cent coin was minted during a time when America was on the rise after World War II. The country was entering the early stages of the post-war boom, with significant cultural, economic, and technological shifts on the horizon. The 1950s were a transformative period, and the 1953 penny is like a small time capsule from that era. It may seem like a regular coin, but there's more to it than meets the eye. What makes the 1953 penny so intriguing, though, is its rarity and condition. You see, while millions of these pennies were minted and circulated, most of them were worn down over time from being passed around in daily transactions. The majority of 1953 pennies you'll find today are far from pristine, many are scuffed, discolored, or have heavy signs of wear. But here's the kicker, a small fraction of these coins manage to survive in near-perfect or uncirculated condition, and that's what makes them so valuable to collectors. So, let's take a closer look at the design of the 1953 penny. On the obverse, you'll find the portrait of President Abraham Lincoln, which has been featured on the penny since 1909. The likeness of Lincoln, facing forward in profile, is one of the most iconic images in American coinage. His image on the penny represents the values of freedom, unity, and democracy, the very ideals that helped shape this nation. On the reverse side, you'll see the classic wheat design, featuring two stalks of wheat. This wheat symbol has been associated with American agriculture since the penny's inception and serves as a reminder of the country's roots and growth. So, what's the deal with the 1953 penny? Well, it all boils down to how few of these coins have survived in pristine, uncirculated condition. Most pennies from this year were circulated, meaning they've been in and out of wallets, purses, and cash registers for decades, often leading to a fair amount of damage. However, the 1953 pennies that were carefully preserved, whether by accident or design, have become increasingly rare and valuable. Now, let's talk about the real treasure, the value of the 1953 1-cent coin. If you happen to have one of these pennies in mint or near mint condition, you're sitting on a potential goldmine. The value of a single 1953 penny in exceptional condition can be jaw-dropping. In fact, a well-preserved 1953 penny could be worth as much as $81,000. Yes, you heard that right, $81,000 for just one penny. That's the magic of rare coins. What may seem like a simple, everyday item could actually hold an incredible value, especially if it's in outstanding condition. It's a reminder that the next time you come across a jar of old pennies or a collection of coins, you might just be holding onto something far more valuable than you think. So, if you've got a 1953 penny tucked away in your collection or you're sorting through some old coins, take a second to check the condition. You might just find yourself holding a piece of history that's worth a fortune. Top 4. In this video, we're diving into a United States 1-cent coin from 1944 that might just be worth more than you ever imagined. You won't believe how valuable this little coin is, so stick with us to find out how much it could actually be worth. The 1944 1-cent coin was minted during a pivotal time in American history. The country was in the midst of World War II, and the world was undergoing dramatic changes. The United States was dealing with the wartime economy, and that had a significant impact on the way coins were produced. In 1944, the government faced a shortage of copper due to its use in military supplies, so they decided to switch the metal composition of the penny from copper to steel. However, by the end of the year, they resumed using copper, and that's where the real story begins. The 1944 penny was produced in massive quantities, but not all of them were created equal. In fact, most of the 1944 pennies you'll find today have been heavily circulated, and they've suffered the usual signs of wear and tear. But here's the exciting part: a select few of these coins, particularly those in uncirculated or near mint condition, are extraordinarily rare and have skyrocketed in value. The 1944 penny is one of those coins that, if you find it in the right condition, could put a lot of money in your pocket. Let's talk about the design of the 1944 penny for a moment. On the obverse side, you'll find the familiar image of President Abraham Lincoln. This portrait, which has been gracing the penny since 1909, is a symbol of the strength and unity of the United States. The image of Lincoln represents the ideals of freedom and democracy that have shaped the nation. On the reverse, you'll see the classic wheat design, with two stalks of wheat framing the words, 1 cent. This wheat symbol was used on pennies from 1909 until 1958 and represents America's agricultural roots. So, what makes the 1944 penny so special and valuable? As we mentioned earlier, the majority of these coins were used in everyday transactions and are in poor condition today. However, some of the 1944 pennies were preserved in exceptional condition, and that's where they become highly valuable to collectors. The real treasure is finding one of these coins that hasn't been damaged by years of circulation. If you come across a 1944 penny that's nearly as good as new, you might have a rare find on your hands, but there's another twist to this story. Some 1944 pennies have unique characteristics that make them even more desirable. There were some misprints and minting errors during this period, such as double strikes or off-center designs. These error coins are even more rare and valuable, making them a hot commodity for collectors who are always searching for that one-of-a-kind item. Now, you're probably wondering, how much could a 1944 penny really be worth? Well, if you find a 1944 penny that's in mint condition or one with a unique error, you could be sitting on a small fortune. A single 1944 penny in top-notch condition could be worth as much as $93,000. Yes, $93,000 for just one penny. That's right, something that seems so small could have such a massive value, and that's the magic of rare coins. So, if you have a jar of old pennies, or if you're digging through your change and find a 1944 penny, it's definitely worth taking a closer look. You never know, you might just. Top 5, we're going to talk about a seemingly ordinary coin that could be hiding a small fortune in your collection, the United States 1-cent coin from 1954. Yes, you heard that right, a penny from 1954 might be worth more than you ever imagined. You won't want to miss what we've got to share with you, so stick around until the end for an unbelievable value reveal. The 1954 1-cent coin was minted during a time when the United States was enjoying post-war prosperity. The 1950s was a period of economic growth and cultural change, and this penny was right in the middle of that exciting era. However, what might seem like a typical, everyday coin from that time has become something much more valuable in recent years, especially if you happen to have one in pristine condition. You see, while many of these pennies were made in large numbers, very few have survived in near mint or uncirculated form. Let's take a closer look at the design. On the front, you'll find the portrait of President Abraham Lincoln, a design that has been featured on the 1-cent coin since 1909. Lincoln's likeness symbolizes unity, strength, and freedom, which are core values in American history. On the reverse side, you'll see 2 stalks of wheat, a design that was used on pennies from 1909 until 1958. The wheat represents the nation's agricultural roots and has become an iconic image for collectors, while the 1954 penny doesn't have the same historical weight as some other rarer coins. Its value has risen due to its rarity in high-quality condition. Many of these pennies were used in everyday transactions, meaning they've been heavily circulated over the years. The result? Most 1954 pennies you'll come across today are worn, scratched, or discolored, and that lowers their value significantly. However, if you happen to stumble upon a 1954 penny that's been carefully preserved or remains uncirculated, you might just be holding on to a real treasure. But there's more to this penny story. It's not just the overall condition of the coin that matters, it's also about how rare certain versions are. Some of the 1954 pennies were minted with subtle variations that make them even more valuable. These variations can include things like slight misprints, off-center strikes, or unusual wear patterns. These types of minting errors are highly prized by collectors who are always on the lookout for something truly unique. A coin that stands out from the rest for its rarity and anomaly can fetch a much higher price in the market. So, you're probably wondering just how much a 1954 penny could be worth if it's in great condition or has a rare feature. Well, if you happen to own one of these exceptional coins, you could be sitting on a small fortune. A 1954 penny in uncirculated condition or with a minting error could be worth as much as $73,000. Yes, $73,000 for just one penny. That's how much value a rare coin can carry, even if it looks like just another piece of spare change. If you've got an old jar of pennies, or if you're going through some change and find a 1954 penny, don't just toss it aside. Take a moment to inspect it closely, especially if it's in great shape. You could be holding onto a coin that's worth way more than its face value. Who knows, your next great find could be right in front of you. Top 6, we're about to uncover the incredible worth of a coin that might just be sitting in your collection right now. Yes, I'm talking about the United States 1-cent coin from 1950. A penny, you say? Absolutely. This seemingly ordinary coin has the potential to make you a lot more than just pocket change. Stick around because you won't believe how valuable this little penny can be. Let's start with a quick look back at 1950. The United States was in the middle of the post-World War II boom. The country was enjoying economic prosperity, and life was changing rapidly. The 1950s saw major shifts in culture, technology, and even fashion. But despite all of the transformations happening at the time, one thing remained constant: the trusty 1-cent coin. It might seem like a small, insignificant piece of currency, but as we're about to find out, this particular penny from 1950 is much more valuable than you might think. Most of the 1950 pennies produced were circulated widely and, over time, became worn and damaged through daily use. After all, a penny that's been passed around in wallets, vending machines, and cash registers for decades isn't likely to stay in perfect condition. That's why finding a 1950 penny that's still in pristine condition is incredibly rare. But when you do find one that's well preserved, the value skyrockets. The key is in the condition. The more pristine and well kept the coin, the more valuable it becomes. Now, let's talk about the design. On the front, we have the iconic portrait of President Abraham Lincoln, which has been featured on the 1-cent coin since 1909. His face is a symbol of strength and unity, values that remain at the heart of America's identity. On the back, you'll see the familiar wheat stalk design, which was used from 1909 until 1958. The wheat design pays tribute to America's agricultural history and gives the penny a timeless and nostalgic feel. But what truly sets the 1950 penny apart from the rest isn't just its design, it's the rarity of finding one in excellent condition. While there are plenty of 1950 pennies out there, most of them are in poor shape due to years of circulation. However, some of these coins have managed to survive in uncirculated or near-mint condition, and those are the ones collectors are hunting for. These rare, well-preserved pennies are highly sought after and have been known to fetch incredible prices at auctions and through private sales. And here's something even more exciting: some 1950 pennies were minted with subtle variations or minting errors that make them even more valuable. These coins may have unique characteristics, such as double strikes or off-center designs, which make them stand out from the rest. Error coins are some of the most coveted items for collectors because they are truly one-of-a-kind. So, how much is a 1950 penny worth if it's in top condition? Hold on to your hats, because a single 1950 penny in mint condition could be worth as much as $77,000. Yes, $77,000 for a penny. It's hard to believe, right? But that's the kind of value rare coins can hold, especially when they're in exceptional shape or have unique characteristics that make them stand out. If you've got a jar of old pennies, or if you're lucky enough to come across a 1950 penny in your change, don't just dismiss it. Take a closer look. You might be holding on to something worth far more than just a cent. A little attention and research could turn that penny into a major payday. Top 7. This video is going to be one that's sure to make you take a second look at any old pennies you may have lying around. What if I told you that a simple 1-cent coin from 1957 could be worth a lot more than just a penny? Yes, you heard that correctly, a 1957 penny could be worth tens of thousands of dollars. Stick with me, because by the end of this video, you might just discover that you have a hidden treasure in your collection. Let's rewind to the year 1957. It was a time of post-war optimism in the United States. The country was recovering from World War II, and the 1950s marked an era of prosperity and innovation. The economy was booming, families were growing, and the nation was solidifying its position as a global leader. The 1957 penny, which was produced during this dynamic time, carries a piece of that history with it. However, what makes this particular penny so valuable isn't just the year it was minted, it's the condition it's in and the rarity of well-preserved examples. The 1957 1-cent coin was produced in large quantities, which means that you'll find plenty of these pennies in circulation today. But here's the catch: most of these coins were used in everyday transactions, and as a result, they've suffered the usual wear and tear, scratches, discoloration, and dings. However, the real value lies in the few coins that have been kept in exceptional condition. If you happen to find a 1957 penny that's still in mint condition, you could have a rare find on your hands. Let's talk about the design for a moment. On the front of the 1957 penny, you'll find the iconic image of President Abraham Lincoln, which has been featured on the 1-cent coin since 1909. Lincoln's portrait is a symbol of the nation's strength, unity, and perseverance. On the reverse side, you'll see the famous wheat design, which was used on pennies from 1909 to 1958. The wheat stalks symbolize the country's agricultural roots and give the coin a classic, timeless look that's beloved by collectors. So why is the 1957 penny so special in the world of coin collecting? Well, as we've mentioned, it's all about the condition and rarity. A well-preserved, uncirculated 1957 penny is something that many collectors are constantly on the lookout for. These coins are a perfect example of how small details matter in the world of numismatics. The better the condition, the higher the value. A coin that hasn't been exposed to years of circulation can be worth significantly more than one that has been heavily used, but here's the kicker: certain 1957 pennies have been found with unique characteristics or errors during the minting process. These errors can include things like double strikes, misprints, or coins with unusual features. These error coins are highly sought after by collectors because they are one of a kind. If you happen to have one of these rare variants, it could make your 1957 penny even more valuable than a standard issue. Now, you're probably wondering, how much could a 1957 penny be worth? If you have a 1957 penny that's in uncirculated or near mint condition, you could be looking at a surprisingly high value. A single 1957 penny in excellent condition could be worth as much as $69,000. Yes, that's right, $69,000 for a penny. It's hard to believe that such a small coin could be worth so much, but that's the incredible world of rare coins. So, if you've been holding on to a collection of old pennies or come across a 1957 penny in your change, take a moment to give it a close inspection. You might just have a valuable coin hiding in your pocket. And remember, the condition of the coin plays a huge role in its value, so be sure to keep it safe and in pristine condition if you want to get top dollar for it. Top 8. We have an incredible story about a coin you might have overlooked. It's not from the distant past or a wartime era, it's a 1-cent coin from 1975. You might think, how could a penny from the 70s be worth anything more than a few cents? Well, you're about to be amazed because this seemingly ordinary coin could be worth an unbelievable amount of money. Stay tuned because you won't believe how valuable this 1975 penny could be. First, let's take a quick look at the year 1975. The country was in the midst of the post-Vietnam War era, with the United States navigating through an economic recession and dealing with inflation. While the world was changing, the U.S. Mint continued its regular production of coins, including the 1-cent piece. The 1975 penny was minted in large numbers, but little did anyone know that some of these coins would become highly sought after by collectors decades later. Now, most 1975 pennies that you come across are likely to be in fairly worn condition. They've passed through many hands, seen countless transactions, and endured the usual signs of wear. But here's where it gets interesting: certain 1975 pennies were struck in such a way that they became rare gems, often because they were kept in pristine condition or even because of specific minting errors. And as we all know, rarity is key in the world of coin collecting. The fewer the coins, the higher the demand, and that's what makes the 1975 penny a hidden treasure for collectors. Let's break down the design of this coin. The obverse of the 1975 penny features the well-known portrait of President Abraham Lincoln. This image has been on the 1-cent coin since 1909, symbolizing the strength and unity of the United States. On the reverse side, we see the iconic Lincoln Memorial design, which has been the reverse for most pennies since 1959. The image of the memorial represents the nation's respect for Lincoln's leadership during one of the most tumultuous times in U.S. history. But here's where it gets really interesting: while most of these pennies were struck and circulated like regular coins, there's a subset of them that have been preserved in near-perfect condition. In fact, a well-preserved 1975 penny in uncirculated condition can fetch a pretty hefty price. These pennies are harder to find today, since most of them were used in everyday transactions. But if you're lucky enough to have one in great shape, it could be worth much more than just 1 cent. But the story doesn't end there. Some 1975 pennies were struck with unique errors or characteristics that make them even more valuable. Minting mistakes, like double strikes, off-center designs, or even coins with missing details, are what collectors are really after. These error coins are rare, and the rarity of a coin is what ultimately drives up its value. If you happen to have a 1975 penny that shows any sort of minting irregularity, you could be holding onto a coin worth a lot more than you'd expect. So, just how much could a 1975 penny be worth? You might be shocked to learn that a single 1975 penny in pristine, uncirculated condition or with a unique minting error could be worth as much as $63,000. Yes, you heard that right, $63,000 for a single penny. It's hard to believe, but this is the kind of value that rare and well-preserved coins can hold. And all it takes is one lucky discovery for a coin to go from pocket change to a small fortune. If you've got a jar of old pennies or have been holding onto some change from the 70s, now might be the perfect time to take a closer look. You never know, there could be a hidden treasure waiting for you. Be sure to inspect the condition of any 1975 pennies you find and check for any potential errors. Who knows, you might just be holding the key to a valuable collector's item. Top 9, we've got something truly exciting for you. If you're someone who thinks pennies are just pocket change, think again, because the 1-cent coin from 1979 is one that could have a hidden value far beyond what you might expect. In fact, a 1979 penny might be worth thousands of dollars. Intrigued? Stick with me, because by the end of this video, you'll be checking your old pennies a lot more carefully. Let's take a moment to look back at 1979. The United States was in a period of economic turbulence, with high inflation rates and rising interest rates. The country was navigating a challenging time politically and economically, yet life carried on, and coins like the 1979 penny continued to circulate through the economy. At first glance, a 1979 penny might seem like just another coin from the late 70s. But as with many coins, time has a funny way of revealing value, and in the case of this penny, it's a story worth telling. You see, while the US Mint produced millions of these pennies in 1979, the value of the coin isn't determined just by the number of coins minted, it's all about the condition and rarity. Many of the 1979 pennies were used in everyday transactions and have been worn down over the years. Most coins that have seen decades of circulation are filled with scratches, discoloration, and other signs of heavy use. But every now and then, a few lucky coins escape the usual wear and tear, and if they've been carefully stored or preserved, their value could be incredibly high. Now, let's talk about the design. As with most pennies from this era, the obverse features the famous portrait of President Abraham Lincoln, which has graced the 1-cent coin since 1909. Lincoln represents the nation's strength, unity, and history, and his likeness on the coin is a timeless reminder of the principles that built the United States. The reverse side of the 1979 penny features the Lincoln Memorial, an iconic structure that stands as a symbol of Lincoln's leadership and the enduring values of freedom and equality. So, why is the 1979 penny so sought after? Well, it's primarily due to its rarity in good condition. As you can imagine, it's difficult to find a 1979 penny that hasn't been subject to the usual wear and tear from circulation. But here's the thing, collectors are always looking for well-preserved examples of these coins. A penny from 1979 that's still in uncirculated or near mint condition is a rare find, and that's what makes it valuable. Coins that have survived decades without showing the usual signs of wear can be worth significantly more than those that have been used extensively. But there's even more to this story. Some 1979 pennies were produced with minting errors that make them even rarer. Minting errors can range from double strikes to off-center designs or even coins with unusual features that were never intended. These error coins are some of the most highly sought after by collectors. If you happen to come across a 1979 penny with an error, you could be holding onto a truly unique piece of numismatic history. So, how much could a 1979 penny actually be worth? Well, if you've got one in excellent condition, or better yet, a rare error coin, prepare to be amazed. A 1979 penny in pristine, uncirculated condition could be worth as much as $60,000. Yes, that's right, $60,000 for a single penny. It's hard to believe that something so small could hold such value, but that's the magic of rare coins. With the right conditions, a simple penny can become a valuable asset that if you've got a collection of old pennies or even just a jar of loose change, it's definitely worth taking the time to go through and inspect your 1979 pennies. Look for any signs of uncirculated condition or minting errors. Who knows, that old penny you've overlooked might just be worth a fortune. Top 10, and last coin. Have you ever considered the value of a 1-cent coin from 1991? It may sound surprising, but a penny from that year could actually be worth a lot more than you think. Stick with me, and you'll soon discover why this seemingly ordinary coin could hold extraordinary value. Let's rewind to 1991. It was a year that saw the world shifting in many ways. The United States was in the middle of a dynamic time, with pop culture booming, technology advancing, and the economy undergoing some major changes. Amid all this, the U.S. Mint continued to produce coins like the 1-cent piece, which we all know and recognize today. But here's where things get interesting. Although millions of 1991 pennies were made, some of them have become much rarer and more valuable than others. Now, we all know that the value of a coin is largely determined by its rarity and condition. The majority of 1991 pennies that were used in everyday transactions have seen their fair share of wear and tear. After all, a penny is typically used for small purchases and often gets passed around a lot. This means that many 1991 pennies have lost their original luster and are now worth just 1 cent, at best. However, the real treasure lies in the few pennies that have remained in pristine condition. A 1991 penny that's still in uncirculated condition or shows minimal signs of wear can be a very rare find. These coins weren't subjected to the typical rough handling that most pennies experience, and that's what sets them apart. If you're lucky enough to find a 1991 penny that looks like it just came out of the mint, you could be holding a coin worth far more than face value. The key is in the condition. Coins that have been carefully stored or have avoided heavy circulation are highly desirable to collectors, but let's take it one step further. Some of these 1991 pennies have been found with minting errors. These can include things like double strikes, misprints, or coins that were struck off-center. Minting errors are a big deal in the coin collecting world because they make a coin unique, and collectors love to get their hands on error coins. If you happen to come across a 1991 penny with an error, it could be worth a significant amount more than a regular penny. So, how much can a 1991 penny be worth if it's in excellent condition or has an error? Are you ready for the big reveal? A 1991 penny in top-tier condition, or one with a rare minting error, could be worth as much as $56,000. Yes, you heard that correctly, $56,000 for a single penny. It's incredible to think that something as small and common as a penny could hold such value, but in the world of rare coins, that's exactly what can happen. If you've been holding on to old pennies or if you've ever wondered if that 1-cent coin in your collection could be valuable, it's time to take a closer look. A 1991 penny might not seem like much at first, but with the right condition or a minting error, it could turn into a small fortune. Whether you find one at the bottom of your purse or in a box of old change, make sure to inspect those pennies carefully. You could be sitting on a hidden treasure. Thank you for watching today's video. I hope you found this look into the 1991 1-cent coin fascinating. If you enjoyed this content and want to learn more about rare and valuable coins, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and click that notification bell so you never miss out on future discoveries. Who knows, your next great find could be just around the corner. Until next time, happy collecting and good luck with your coin hunting.